headline in my mind coming off of last night's Western Conference Finals Game 5 is somebody open up Kawhi's luxury box for one more time, baby. Yeah.
Hey.
Get the dessert cart going.
Let's go.
Kawhi's coming back to the luxury suite.
Woohoo.
That's one way to look at it.
Candy apples.
Another way to look at it is TJ Jefferson, on behalf of all of Clipper Nation,
Yes.
who you represent.
I tried to.
How did the first Western Conference Finals road win in Clippers history treat you last night?
Man, it was
How about that one?
that was an amazing game.
That was what we call a first. How about the Clippers being the one staring at the wrong end of a 3-1 lead, staring at the deficit, and they're the ones playing with the old house money.
The more guys we lose, the better we get.
And who showed up and showed out? Paul George and Reggie Jackson, who I love. I love watching
do. That's your
Reggie
man.
Jackson play basketball because
He loves
plays,
anyone named Reggie Jackson.
You know,
Chris.
I'll make this a little bit. I'll make this a little bit about myself here. Make this a little bit about myself.
we do that here, Rich. We do that.
It's
What
your
Reggie-
show.
Hold on a
It's
second.
your
What
show.
Reggie Jackson's doing for the Clippers is exactly what the New York Yankees are missing. There's nothing. They're dead inside. They step up to the plate. They feel like they're dead. They feel like they're dead. And they roll over when somebody shows up and punches them in the mouth. I'm serious.
Okay, I mean, fair.
One thing, Chris, I know you're a betting man, and I do not at all condone it.
Hold on, Germany's got a scoring chance.
Okay,
Just hold
very
on 1
good.
second.
We'll get on that in a second.
Oh, I missed.
But I don't condone that at all.
Of course not.
Betting man is whenever Ohtani's pitching against the Yankees, take Ohtani and the Angels.
Gosh, he's amazing.
Because that's when the whole country will be tuned in or
Incredible.
focused on them, and they'll fold. And if they don't, I'll be pleasantly surprised. Reggie Jackson is all of exactly what you want. And PG-13 deserves the kudos, but he does.
But he
he's
deserves the
also
slander
hold on a
sometimes,
second.
you know what I mean?
He's also the guy who is the guy. He's supposed to be the Clippers guy. Who else is going to step up? You look at Paul George and you know he's got to step up. And you expect him to do that. But you're looking at the rest of that locker room and say, who else? Who's coming with me? And the guy who's doing it is Reggie Jackson. The way that he reins in threes, the way that he is aggressive to the basket, the way that he's got the swag when he makes the shot like, yeah, my name's Reggie Jackson. You know?
They both wear shades.
And Marcus Morris performed very well, certainly in the first half last night. And the Clippers lost the lead in a way that the Suns did not in Game 4. As you know, the Suns never lost the lead in Game 4. And the Clippers lost the lead in Game 5. And how did they respond after losing the lead in Game 5, going down 62-61, and the person who put the Suns on top was none other than Chris Paul? And put it all together, and you could see a team would fold under those circumstances. Yeah, well, we had a good run. We had a good run, and Chris Paul's, this is his time, and it's Chris Paul, and the basketball gods are allowing him to get that lead. And I honestly thought to myself, are we going to look back and say that was the moment that the Suns made the NBA Finals? They dug out of that hole. They got the lead. What did the Clippers do at the 8-minute mark of the third quarter? They scored 30 points the rest of the quarter. They took a 30-16 run into the fourth quarter, and they closed it out. And the guy who helped close it out was Paul George. And I know Van Gundy was just like, and Mark Jackson were like, what's he doing sitting at the top of the fourth quarter? They're like, what's he doing out? Like he's got to go to Ty Lue and say, I don't need the rest, man. I got to get back out there. They were kind of on him for that. And then I think it was at that point that Mike Breen's like, you know, he does lead the league in playoff minutes played.
Yeah.
He has played all but 3 minutes tonight, you know, and it was kind of one of those moments where
Van
You're
Gundy's
sitting
had
at
a
home,
lot
like,
of those moments.
But that's Paul George. He's kind of always invited that criticism because there's so many times he doesn't raise to his level of play. Last year's bubble was a perfect example. Last night facing elimination, a playoff career high 41, and he's jarring threes. He's making fall away jumpers. He's the one bringing the ball up the court.
Yeah.
He was the one advancing the ball. He's doing it all last night.
Palmdale P. Let's go.
He was terrific. He was sublime. He was terrific. And
Palmdale
I
P.
love Reggie Jackson. And I love what Ty Lue's done. And, one at a time. Still alive.
Still alive.
And Rich and Chris and Mike, we also got to put some respect on Boogie Cousins' name.
That was terrific, too.
Man.
It's good to see him out there,
Boogie
man.
Cousins, who, and I put on Twitter a few weeks ago, like my what if that guy never got hurt?
Ugh.
And you kind of saw a little bit of what DeMarcus Cousins used to bring on a nightly basis.
Oh, he was, and he when he first came in the game, because Zubac was out.
Yeah.
When he first came in the game and he took the first two shots, I'm thinking to myself, well, this is not the University of Kentucky. You know what I mean? Like, that's what my first thought was. Like, okay, like this is PG's night. Marcus Morris is lighting it up. And I this is how much I like Reggie Jackson. I get upset when he doesn't get the ball. And the role that he's playing is like Kawhi, where he's kind of like this, he's got an OG feel to him. You know what I'm saying? He's got this OG feel to him. I love him. He's like one of my favorite Clippers players of all time.
The fact that you just called somebody an OG on air, that just made me so happy.
Do we need to get you a jersey or something like for
I don't know.
tomorrow night?
Maybe it's also, as you know, I'm a big Reggie Jackson fan. Just in the name,
Yeah,
the name
right.
just
The
elicits
the name
a smile.
alone, man. The name alone.
Mr. June. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.